Hello everyone, this is Greg K4HSM and here at Spicy Mustard headquarters. Didn't do an update yesterday. I was on the radio all day, not for Winter Field Day, but for calling Winter Storm Net that spanned almost 11 hours, basically from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon until about 11:30 last night. We were on the air at the top of the hour on one repeater, on the 9.4 repeater, and we were on the air at the bottom of the hour on the 147.36 repeater, taking spotter reports and giving out information from the Weather Service as they were updating. So we had over 100 people that, or 100 check-ins, I should say, from about 80 different stations. And I just got off the air. I was on both repeaters, sending out the latest advisories and warnings and special weather statements that had been issued by Morristown. You can see here, it looks like we're still in this box for freezing rain that's possible. A big wide swath, pretty much the entire state of Tennessee, as well as most of North Carolina, most of South Carolina, half of Georgia and Alabama, majority of Mississippi and Louisiana also are under this freezing rain block here. The bigger issue coming over the next 48 hours are going to be bitterly cold temperatures. You can see temperatures in much of the country now are below freezing. Right here in Tennessee, in the eastern part, and around Nashville, it's pretty much above freezing or flirting with the freezing point. But later today into tonight and tomorrow is when these bitterly cold temperatures come and will be around until at least Tuesday morning. The bigger issue right now, especially in Middle Tennessee, are power outages. Right now, about 10% of Tennesseans are without power. As you can see, Nashville, about 92% as of this recording, have lost power. And in Hickman County, almost the entire county, about 97%. Now, this is of customers that are being tracked. There may be some utilities that aren't putting out numbers that this particular website is not able to record. Here in East Tennessee, we have Knox County with about 359 customers. That's less than 0.2%, or just around 0.2%, I should say. Then you have Morgan County at 4.76% of customers without power that are being tracked. Again, that little caveat there. So out of 8,000 customers, 8,700 customers tracked, you have 418 without power. Roane County has about just over 5% with 1,400 customers without power out of the 27,000 being tracked. In Johnson County, unless there's only one customer with power in that entire county, I think this is a little bit of a goof, but there's one customer being tracked, and that customer has lost power. So our thoughts and prayers, obviously. Here in Knox County, you can see that KUB has about 477 customers without power. Very scattered, very widespread, isolated. The largest issue seems to be up here to the north in the northern part of the county, close to Sharps Chapel and Norris Lake, where there's 173 customers without power. So it feels like we did dodge a major bullet, considering that earlier in the week there was one model that showed that we were going to get almost 30 inches of snow on top of 5 or 6 inches of ice. Certainly think that that did not happen in this case. Here at Spicy Mustard headquarters, we only got a light coating of ice on surfaces such as the decks outside, sidewalks. The roads were perfectly passable, and there was a light coating of ice on the ground in most of the areas that don't get a lot of sunlight during the winter. The mountains of East Tennessee along the North Carolina state line are pretty much still under a high wind warning until 7 o'clock tonight as we record this. So wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour, even some as high as 90 miles an hour in places such as Cove Mountain. The Clingman's Dome area and Mount LeConte will probably have such high winds as well. So again, the bigger issues right now are the bitterly cold temperatures over the next couple of days. If you have to go outside, dress warmly, wear layered clothing, wear coverings on your head and your hands. Make sure that you have enough thermal protection because these temperatures could drop below zero. If you have any pets, please, please, please bring them indoors. Even if it's in the garage, bring them in from these bitterly cold temperatures. If you have animals on a farm, bring them into a shelter such as a barn. And this weekend is Winter Field Day. I was not able to participate. I had plans to, but unfortunately that got superseded by the weather. As you can see, there's a little bit of propagation on the VHF bands here. Looks like here in the southeast region, there's some digipeters on APRS that are making a little bit of long distance contacts. Nothing on the lines of DX or tropospheric ducting, but some of these temperature inversions may be causing some propagation on the 2-meter band. So if you have sideband capability, you might even want to check that out. As for being on the air, we will probably not be doing anything on a hourly basis unless the freezing rain does tend to drift to the east off the plateau and into the valley. Here's a radar composite image of Tennessee and the surrounding areas. As you can see, most of East Tennessee is under rain right now, but right here in Nashville, you can see that they have an icy mix, and this is probably contributing to 90% of power outages in that area right now. So we did dodge a big bullet with this winter storm, but again, a lot of this whole situation was built around hype. A lot of people have a lot of excess bread and milk and toilet paper right now that they're probably going to be trying to consume over the next few days. Even though the forecast does call for bitterly cold temperatures, and some of this stuff could refreeze overnight, tonight and tomorrow, and hopefully the precipitation is going to be done and over with, and we won't have any issues with power lines coming down or tree branches coming down on power lines. And again, be mindful of some of these social meteorologists. I know I sound like a broken record, but I do want to just emphasize that a lot of these people out there are just doing it for money, and so they have to hype up weather in whatever way they can. While this has been pretty severe over in the Nashville area as far as icing and power outages are concerned, we're not under 2 or 3 feet of snow, and we're not under 5 or 6 inches of ice. We do have some icing out in West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee area. Our thoughts are with them, absolutely. But here in East Tennessee, it's again been pretty much a dodging of a bullet. Although there are some isolated power outages, nothing unusual other than what you might get from a major thunderstorm. And with that, I'll sign off. Probably, again, will not be on the air doing any operations today unless there is a significant change in the weather over the next 6 to 12 hours, which doesn't look like that's going to happen. And a brief programming note, we may not be having our training net next Sunday as I will not be available to do it. So there will probably not be a live stream or a net to be conducted until a later time. It could be later in the month, or it may have to wait until March. All that remains to be seen. So tune in to our website, etskywarn.com. You can go to our Facebook group at etskywarn, and we'll have the latest to let you know what the plans are for next week. And so with that, this is Greg, K4HSM, signing off. 7 threes, and have a good rest of your week. Stay warm.